Okay, lesson 3.1 today is now we're solving problems with metric and imperial units, and we're going to be dealing with a lot of fractions and decimals in this unit. Example 1. Katie is a cabinet maker. A client wants to build a cabinet with equally spaced shelves. She plans to use 3/4 inch plywood, and we're going to draw a picture of what this cabinet looks like, and we're going to have to calculate the space that she's going to put between each shelf. That should be a shelf. The cabinet itself is 30 inches wide and 7 feet 3 inches tall, and it has 4 shelves on it. Okay, so we're going to draw a cabinet here. 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, and then that's going to be the bottom, the base, the top, plus our 4 shelves. Okay, so let's label some things. We know that's 30 inches, 7 foot 3 inches high. Okay, so we have to consider that each shelf or piece of plywood is 3/4 inch. So this thickness is 3/4, this, and this. So on our height, we're going to lose all that space. Okay, what is this total height? 7 feet and 3 inches does not help me too much, so I'm going to convert this all to inches. So 7 feet, remember feet to inches is times by 12, so that's 84, but I still have 3 more inches after, so it has a total height of 87 inches. Okay, on that height I lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves that are 3/4 inch. So let's figure out what 6 shelves at 3/4 inch is for total inches. Okay, so in my calculator I have 2 things I can do. If I don't know what 3/4 is, I can type that in as a fraction like this, 3 divided by 4. Okay, 0.75 is a decimal that you should recognize that's equivalent to 3/4. So if you knew that, you can already have 0.75 in your calculator. Times by 6, so that's 4.5 inches. Okay, so if we take our total height, subtract our pieces of plywood, then we get a total height of 82.5 inches of empty space. Okay, so 87 was the total height. We took off the pieces of wood. That's how much empty space there is. So if we are dividing that into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regions, then each one would be 16.5 inches. So that would be 16.5 from the top of that shelf to the bottom of that shelf. Okay, example 2. Caden is a baker. He cuts a 14.5 inch roll of dough into 1 1/4 inches slices for cinnamon buns. So how many buns can he make from one roll? So let's recognize some fractions as decimals. So 14.5, I'm going to recognize that as 14.5, and 1 1/4, I'm going to recognize that as 1.25. Okay, so if I have a roll that's 14.5, I'm just going to figure out how many of these fit into those. So that would be a division. So I'm going to go into my calculator and do that division, and I get a result of 11 point something 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 something. Okay, obviously when I'm doing a partial, I can't fit that in, and I'm not going to make a bun from that. It's just going to be leftover dough. Okay, so you can only make 11 pieces. I'm going to make you extend this problem. How much is left over? So here's what we're going to do. If you make 11 pieces and each is 1.25, how much dough did you use? So 11 times 1.25 is 13.75. So you use 13.75. The whole thing was 14.5. How much is left over? So you can subtract 14.5, subtract 13.75, and you end up with 0.75. So there is 3/4 of an inch left over after. Alright, example 3. Jack raises a car 3/16 of an inch each time he pushes on a lever. Okay, so if you know what a lever is, you have to push down, and as you push down, you crank something up. So each time it's going up 3/16, and you need to raise the car a total of 1.5 inches. So how many of these fit in there would be a division question. So here's what I'm going to do in my calculator. I recognize that as 1.5. I don't recognize that. So I'm going to go 1.5 divided by, in my calculator, I'm going to put 3/16 represented like that in brackets. So 1.5 divided by 3/16, I will show you how to type that in. So 1.5 divided by bracket 3 divided by 16 bracket. So therefore you're going to push that lever 8 times. Okay, next question. Brian. He's a gas fitter, and gas pipe costs $7.69 per yard. So how much will it cost to construct a pipe going from the gas supply to the front of his house? So here's the gas, and he needs to go all the way around because he wants to hook up for a barbecue. Okay, so let's figure out what the total distance is. So we're going to add all 3 of those pieces together. So adding them gets you a total of 15.65 meters. Okay, now this meters isn't going to help me because my cost is in yards. So I'm going to go to my sheet, and I'm finding right here a meters to yards. So 1 meter is 1.09 yards. Okay, so therefore this question says, Haley, I'll get you grapes, just hold on. Then I'm going to multiply those 2 numbers together. So I end up with 17.06 yards. But I'm not done my question because I haven't answered it. How much will this cost? 17.06 yards. Each yard costs me. So now my final answer would be that the cost is $131.18. Okay, last question. A welder cuts a piece of steel 1.92 meters long into 4 equal pieces. What is each piece in inches? Okay, so now we're going to have to think meters to inches. Okay, I don't see anything. So now I'm going to think, why don't we go meters to yards? Now if we're in yards, I can get to feet. From feet, I can get to inches. So we're going to have a lot of conversions here. Okay, so looking on that sheet, we saw that we had meters. Okay, same as this question above here. 1 meter, 1.09 yards. Okay, so we're going to multiply that. So we end up with 2.09 yards. So let's repeat, and we're going to go yards to feet. I know 1 yard has 3 feet in it from my table. So 2.09 times 3 is 6.27 feet. Now 6.27 feet, I want to get that to inches, and 1 foot is 12 inches. So now I'm multiplying by 12. So 75.24 inches is the piece of steel's length. But I want to cut it into 4 pieces, so I'm going to take the total inches, divide by 4. So each piece is going to be 18.81 inches long. All right, that's it for the lesson.